They say every family has that one dinner where everything changes. Asterisk for me. It was the night my father decided to break me. Asterisk the lights were too bright that evening. The clinking of forks, the sound of wine being poured, and the fake laughter echoing across the table. It all felt rehearsed. Mom had made her famous roast. Caroline had just come back from New York, and Dad sat at the head of the table like a judge about to deliver a sentence. Asterisk, I knew something was off. When he didn't look at me even once, he just kept staring at his plate, swirling the wine in his glass. Then he said it, asterisk, greater than your sister deserves the house more. Michael. Just like that. No warning, no reason. Just a declaration. Asterisk, the world didn't stop spinning, but it felt like my chest did. I could feel Mom's eyes darting between us, trying to soften the blow with a trembling smile. Caroline froze, mid-bite. Her fork clinked against the plate. Asterisk, I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I didn't know what else to do. You're serious? Asterisk, Dad didn't even blink. She's got her life together. She'll take care of it better than you. There it was. Not just rejection, humiliation. Asterisk, I had spent years helping him pay off that house, worked double shifts, skipped weekends out with friends, even postponed college so I could stay home and help when things got tight. But that didn't matter. In his eyes, I'd never been enough. The rest of dinner was quiet. Mom tried to change the topic, but her voice cracked. Caroline tried to apologize with her eyes, but I couldn't even look at her. The air was thick with something I couldn't swallow. Asterisk, when it was over, I walked out. No goodbye, no plate finished. Just the sound of my footsteps on the cold floor. Asterisk, outside, it had started to rain. I sat in my car, staring at the house through the foggy windshield. That place had been my entire childhood, my every memory. Now it felt like a stranger's home. Asterisk, Dad's words echoed in my head over and over again. She deserves it more. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Asterisk, I didn't cry. Asterisk, I just promised myself one thing. He'd regret saying that. Weeks passed, but the anger didn't fade. It grew roots. Asterisk, Mom called one morning, her voice barely a whisper. Asterisk, they're transferring the house to Caroline. She said, your dad already started the paperwork. Asterisk, that's when something inside me shifted. Asterisk, I stopped being the son who waited for his father's approval. Asterisk, and I became the man who would never need it again. Asterisk, I picked up extra shifts at work, started freelancing online at night. Every dollar I earned felt like a weapon being sharpened. My friends thought I was just saving for a car. They didn't know I was saving for revenge. Months turned into a year. Caroline moved into the house. I barely spoke to them. Every family call felt like theater. Dad still acted like nothing happened. Asterisk, then one evening, Carolyn called. Her voice was soft, hesitant. Asterisk, hey, I'm selling the house. Moving closer to the city. Asterisk, for a second, I couldn't breathe. The same house I was denied, now she was discarding it like it meant nothing. Asterisk, I didn't get angry. I smiled. Because this was my moment. The next morning, I called the realtor. The listing was still fresh. Asterisk, he recognized my last name and laughed. You're interested in your old house? That's poetic, man. Poetic, that's one way to put it. Asterisk, I didn't take a loan, didn't ask for approval. I wired the money cash. Asterisk, every sleepless night, every ignored insult, every ounce of silence I'd swallowed had built up to this moment. Asterisk, when the sale went through, I drove up to the house that night. The porch light flickered. The same one I'd fixed when I was 16. The same crack still ran down the driveway. It felt like the house was holding its breath, waiting for me to come home. Asterisk, but this time, I wasn't coming back as the son. I was coming back as the owner. 2 days later, the locks were changed. Asterisk, the day they showed up was something I'll never forget. Asterisk, Caroline's car pulled into the driveway. Dad, in the passenger seat. They looked so casual, like it was just another day. Caroline tried her key. It didn't turn. She tried again, harder this time. Asterisk, Michael. She called, confused. Asterisk, I stepped out from the doorway, holding a mug of coffee. You looking for something? The look on her face, a mix of confusion and realization, was almost beautiful. What's going on? She asked. Asterisk, I handed her a folded document, the house deed, my name printed bold across the top. Dad snatched it from her, his eyes scanning the paper. You bought it? He demanded. Asterisk, cash. I said, figured if it was so valuable, it shouldn't go to waste. Asterisk, his jaw tightened. You think this is funny? Asterisk, I shrugged. I think it's fair. Asterisk, he wanted to argue, but there was nothing left to say. The house was legally mine. Asterisk, they left without another word. Caroline's eyes were glassy, her voice breaking as she muttered, "You didn't have to do this." But I did, because sometimes, the only way to get closure is to buy the door they locked you out of. Asterisk, the first night alone in the house was silent. Almost too silent. Asterisk, I walked through every room, touching the walls like I was tracing the scars of an old wound. The kitchen still smelled faintly of Mom's cooking. The hallway lights still flickered. My childhood room still had the dents in the wall from when I'd practiced pitching baseballs. Asterisk, I thought I'd feel triumphant. Asterisk, instead, I felt .com. Asterisk, for the first time, the house wasn't filled with shouting or judgment, just peace. Asterisk, a week later, Mom came to visit. She didn't say much. She just stood in the doorway, tears welling in her eyes. Asterisk, it's good to see you here, she said softly. It feels right. Asterisk, she hugged me tight, tighter than she ever had before, and for a second, all the anger melted away. Asterisk, I didn't need Dad's apology anymore. Asterisk, I didn't need Caroline's guilt. I had something better, proof that I could stand on my own. Now, every morning when I sip my coffee by the kitchen window, I watch the sunrise spill across the yard, the same yard where my father once told me I'd never amount to much. Asterisk, and sometimes, I think about that dinner, the way his voice cut through me like a blade. Asterisk, funny thing is, I'm grateful for it now. Asterisk, because if he hadn't said those words, I might never have built the strength to buy my dignity back. Revenge isn't always about anger. Sometimes, it's about reclaiming your peace, and making sure the locks click when you close the door. Asterisk, they said my sister deserved the house more, and maybe she did, but I deserved to finally come home to silence. That was mine.